play music first? Or you
Oh,
wanna...
no, we just
Play
going right
some-
on.
play
There.
some music.
All right.
All right, I'll play one song.
What you playing? I should have gave y'all a playlist.
You should have.
Did you record on? Hit the play.
I hit it.
All right.
So it's on the radio and it's
The
on
numbers moving.
everything's moving.
You don't have to lock off one, do you? All right.
You don't hear us talking. Maybe. Who knows?
You know what?
I do this once a month. I only do this 3 times, 4 times. 3 times somebody has to come on. You gonna allow Facebook?
How was that? That's not music.
No, it's not video.
Yeah.
I gotta play this whole song out. So I just hit this fade thing and then locked off, right?
So I'm not looking anywhere, am I? Or am I just,
No, you there. There you go.
where should I be looking?
That's the camera.
But you ain't got to stare.
So you don't gotta stare at the
No,
camera.
this is YouTube.
Camilla.
I know better than to be looking at it.
All right, guys.
Be acting on, they'll be like,
You
listen.
can
What?
Y'all ready?
Oh, we ready. Okay. She won't be playing. Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sador's Turning Pages, where we speak to the authors, the poets, and the writers before and after they hit the stages. Our listeners can tune into SadorRadio.com or listen on the live and direct marketplace app. All one word. Once you get on the app, click on Sador Radio icon. We are also streaming on YouTube at Sador Radio. Callers, if you want to call in and make any comments or questions, call into 215-909-6070. So our special guest today is Michelle Jones Austin, who is an international author and a motivational speaker, and we'll be talking today about her book, Pieces of Me. But I have one small disclaimer before we get started. Tonight's topic is a sensitive topic, so I'm asking that viewers are sensitive to everyone's comments and their questions. If you have personal issues that you would rather not deal with on the show, our guest will give all of her information throughout the show, and you can reach her personally to discuss. But I'm still asking that our viewers, our commenters, our questioners, please be sympathetic to other people's questions and comments. Hello, Michelle. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have a guest host on today. I so apologize because my co-host is not here tonight. So we have Miss Camilla, who's here with us tonight. So she'll be on the show with us as well. So if you guys have questions, like I said, call us at 215-909-6070. You can also question or comment on the YouTube channel at Sadior Radio. So Michelle, introduce yourself to our listeners.
All right. So first, thank you so much for having me. I am back with my Sadior Radio family for one night only.
Not that you used to.
But I thank you all for having me here. I am Lady Michelle Austin, and I am the author of Pieces of Me. Pieces of Me is a journey through my life, through domestic abuse, toxic relationships, all kind of other areas of abuse. So I take you through that journey with me, and then also give you some hope at the end of the book, because there is hope. There is life after trauma, and so I want people to know that. And I talk about my organization and my book, inside the book.
Awesome, awesome. So tell the people your motivation for writing the book.
Well, simply, I was tired of seeing people go through those vicious cycles of abuse. And I actually saw myself in people. I would sit in places, I would sit in church or at work or different places that I was at, and I could really tell the people who were going through those vicious cycles just like I had done. And I realized that there was not much out there, that there's a lot out there, but that we know about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to write my book. I wanted to help people. I wanted to also give free. So it helped me in my healing process as well while I helped others. So I really wanted to tell my story I had been suffering in silence for so long. I wanted to get it out.
Awesome, awesome. What was like your writing process, and how long did it take you to write the book?
All right. She gonna jump right in there like that, right?
We only got an hour.
It was very difficult to write this book. And just like anyone who has gone through these type of traumas, abuse, and all of those things, you have to actually relive it in order to write the book. So there are times when I was reliving certain moments in my life that I would be in the corner crying somewhere. There's been times when my daughter came in the house and found me just like laying under the table, just crying my eyes out because it was so hard to go back to those moments. But I knew I had to.
Mhm.
But there, I would just push the laptop away some days, and then other times I would, have to pick it back up. But I didn't have a lot of my abuse came from my parents, but my parents were no longer alive, so I didn't have anybody that I could go back to ask for that,
For that closure, right?
closure.
Yeah.
So I went through that all by myself. And so that was very, very, very difficult, but I knew that it had to be done. And my publisher gave me a deadline. After a while, she just was like, no, it needs to be done by this date because we need to go into prayer. And so
So how long did it actually take you to write the book?
it was a couple of years.
A couple years.
And that's why by the time it got, she gave me that deadline because it was, she said, not that it was too long because everybody's process is different,
Mhm.
but she knew what I really wanted to do and what I was trying to get done by the time, we wanted to debut like the organization and all those different things. She knew what my goal was, so she had to set that date in
Right,
order
right.
to.
Right, right. So I have one more question. Unless Camilla has a question. I mean, I have a lot of questions.
Camilla can jump
But,
right in
but
there whenever
Camilla,
she
you can jump in
wants.
whenever you want, honey. Because I'm about to go in the book. So you.
Don't let it do it to me, Camilla.
I wanted to hear a little bit, I guess a little bit more about the writing process, because I know that I am also a survivor of domestic violence, and we work together, supported one another,
Mhm.
and as you know, I want to write my book as well. So me hearing this, and I'm sure there's others out there that want to free themselves. This is a way of freeing themselves.
Yeah.
Um, just a little bit more about the whole, I guess, publishing process. Like once you wrote the book, like
Okay.
how did you do?
So you have to well, first, it's really good to journal. I was not journaling,
Mhm.
so that's why it was hard too because I had to kind of get it all together. Whereas there are people who, in their healing process, they journal all the time. So it's just a matter of them just putting the pieces together.
Right.
I had to actually write it, and so I also had my editor and publisher. There were times when she and I would get together where I could talk to her and tell her what it was that I exactly wanted to go on the pages.
What you can put in the
Right, and so
right,
she would
right.
help me through that, and then I would take that home, and then I would go through it some more and add and take out and things like that. So, whatever process works best for you
Right.
is what you have to find. You have to do, but definitely get you a good editor, a good publisher.
Somebody that's going to be on top of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Somebody you could be accountable to.
you
Because you don't
have
get
to.
lost in it.
You
You
have
can't get
to.
lost in it.
But it is a good. I always tell people now. I tell my clients. I tell everybody who comes in contact with my organization. I always tell them, journal. It's so healthy. When you come out of this, you have to journal. You got to write it down. Talk about it. Write that letter. In the beginning of my book, I wrote a letter to myself, and so you have to write. Free yourself. Get that stuff out because it's all up in your head,
Right,
but it
right.
can really take you through some changes. But if you
Right.
put it down on paper, you can at least come back. Even if you ball it up, sometimes you might have to write the letter to that person who molested you. You have to write that letter to, that person who did that very traumatic experience to you. And you can't give it to them. You may not want to give it to them.
Right.
Write it, ball it up, throw it in the trash, but you're free now.
Right.
Thank you.
So I hope I helped you because I kind of went off.
No, you
No,
did.
you-
Right to the
Okay.
point.
So, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself in writing this book?
learned that I had a lot of self doubt. Um, I grew up, when growing up in abuse, so when you were, when you're a baby and you're growing in those different stages, you're still growing. Whether or not the things that are happening are, that's supposed to happen, like, of course, you learn how to walk, crawl, and then you learn how to walk, and then all of those things. I wasn't getting the, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's right there, so nurturing is one of the words I'm looking for, but I cannot, validation. I wasn't getting that, but I was still growing into a toddler and a preschooler and a teenager and an adult. But those stages of development weren't happening correctly. So I've learned from writing this book. I got a chance to learn all those things and get those things poured out. That I had a lot of self doubt in what I could do and who I was. Um, a lot of abandonment, a lot of rejection. So all of those things really, because when I began to put things on pages, I'm like, oh, I was really jacked up. You're going through the motions, but when you actually see it on these pages, you really realize how messed up you really were and why you were going through and doing the things that you were doing, just going through the motions of life. And so now I'm learning how not to, because see, you could come to me and you could have been like, Lady Michelle, you did a great job. You did a great job on that show. You were talking, and I'll be like, oh, I did. I'm thinking about all the stuff I did wrong. I mean, I should have said this, I should have did it like that. Or did they see my speech impediment? Did they hear that? I'm gonna tear myself down. I couldn't receive those praises because I didn't get them when you were little. You draw a picture when you're little, and your mother's supposed to say, "Oh, this is a great picture. Look at you." Even though you outside the line, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, but she's supposed to say, "This is great." I didn't have it. I had right draw out that line. You better get that needle. That better get in that line. So that was one of the things that I found out about myself. A lot of self doubt, and so I'm learning how to come out of that and just love myself.
No, that's right. So we're gonna take a little quick 5-minute break, and then we'll get back and we'll delve into a little bit more deeper about pieces of me.
Just stop.
Woo! Okay, y'all.